Hello, everybody. This is Sci-Fi Junk yet again on this lovely Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday morning. Sorry. Um, this is take 3, by the way. First one I screwed up. Second one I had the mic muted, and well, this is the third take. So anyway, so I do apologize for that. I'm still learning to make videos, and I'm still probably going to proceed to suck at making videos, but as I said before on a number of my videos, this is one of my forms of therapy that I attempt to do to keep everything, to the point of me, trying to stay in one piece. Anyway, I thought I'd make a lovely video about how, what I've learned in the last couple years on a number of subjects, and that and maybe add in a little here and there, a little what you may or may not know if you haven't kept up with my channel. I mean, to be honest, I actually do more than just this stream video games, even though I suck at that as well. Anyway, if you have not kept up with my channel, or just straight up decided to ignore some of the videos that I've done, which is understandable, then you would know that I'm a caregiver, that I am a caregiver for my mother, or at least I attempt to be a caregiver to my mother. I do this by the means of no help from the government. I've gotten some help from family, and then they've stopped helping because, well, they've got their own personal problems, and I won't discuss that. Plus, I don't know all of the personal problems to begin with because I don't even ask. But anyway, as a caregiver, I've been told by a number of people, including my fiance, that I could potentially get paid to be a caregiver. And 2 years ago, it was roughly been 2 years now since I've been a caregiver, or started the road to being a caregiver, that everybody keeps on saying, you can get paid, this and that, everything else, and blah, blah, blah. And we've called everybody that we could think of. Social Security, DHS, Medicare, Medicaid. They say, no, we don't got a program for that. And matter of fact, I was in the office, the Housing Authority office that I live at, because I actually do freelance IT work for them. And the secretary there said that doesn't sound right because one of the tenants that are one of the employees that happened to be a tenant at the time was getting paid to be a caregiver for his mother. Be it the fact that she was living in a different unit or a different unit or different house. She thought maybe that's the idea, but I told her that's not really the case because my fiance was offered the means of being a caregiver and living with her mother, like I'm doing. And so then we thought up the idea that it might be maybe it's one of the cuts that ended up happening. Anyway, the long story short is, as a caregiver, you don't get paid. That short sweet end of the story kind of thing. Which means you have no insurance, you pretty much have nothing. Now, being that my mother is getting SSI, And being that I am a freelance IT guy, or I try to attempt to be a freelance IT guy, to be as professional as I could be. Yeah, I know, with all this stuff, which I'm hoping to get fixed soon, because my fiance actually got me a hair cutting kit, which I'm hoping to get some use out of before the end of the month, and be able to see my fiance at the end of the month, or at the beginning of next month. That's if we can make it through the HUD inspection, which is another thing, or another subject altogether that I may or may not include in here. But as a caregiver, you are pretty much on your own. Now, I'm not talking about as in you're on your own without any family or anything like that, because, like I said, my brother and his wife, my father and his wife, they've both helped. They all four helped me in one form or another. Matter of fact, I've had a cousin help me financially. But the real problem is now, although the financial help is all fine and dandy, it's greatly appreciated, because the funding help that we've gotten went to get meds for my mother, went to paying the rent, went to getting the food. And that's simply because that the work I get is not really enough, and the money that my mother gets, I mean, granted, we could go ahead and cut back on some things. As a matter of fact, we're talking about cutting back on cutting the satellite out and making it where all we have is phone and internet. Because if we don't have internet, then I can't produce, or stream, or upload YouTube videos. And if we don't have a phone, then we can't really communicate on the outside world. So, I mean, and plus, mother has to have Facebook. No way around it. She has to have Facebook. So we're already thinking about cutting back on a number of things. The only problem is the bundle that we're in has to run its course before we can go ahead and cancel it and break it up. Now, another thing, or a number of other things that I've learned as a caregiver is that Social Security don't even recognize you as a caregiver. They will not deal with you as a caregiver. I know this for a fact because I took my mother to the McAllister office to report the divorce settlement that she got, and for the simple fact that she was over $2,000 something, they're now wanting some money back, because they want their money back. And so what they proceed to do is, take it out of her check every month until they get done with it. And that means they could keep taking the funds out that they want until they deem that it's paid back, and it may be paid back, and they'd still want it. So it's a very dangerous situation that we're in right now about that. But then again, she's the one that worked the most. She worked more than I have, to be honest. Because I've only worked as a janitor at Rose State College. I worked as maintenance guy for this facility that we live in, and I did work study. But none of them lasted more than a couple years, so I didn't have any Social Security built up or anything like that. My mother, on the other hand, yeah, she's done far more work than I have, and it kind of sucks. So that's the front on the Social Security end. And we have to. And another thing that I've learned while being a caregiver is you have to make sure to stay on top of everything, and I mean everything. So when the whole heat comes in or comes around, you have to make sure. See, the way I try to do it as a caregiver is I make sure she does it because she can still think for herself. So I'm not the type that's going to take any power away from her. Matter of fact, when she got her Social Security, I had to constantly remind her that it was her money. That it's not mine. It's not in my name. I didn't do anything for it. And yeah, so I've had to do that. I think it was like literally for the first 3 or 4 months, to be honest. After a while, she learned that she didn't have to ask me to use her own money now. She would ask me a number of things about her money, like, would it be a good idea to get this or that and everything else? And I'm like, well, it's for the way it's priced and what you might use it for. Yeah, you can go ahead as long as the bills are paid and the rent's paid. And that's the main thing that I try to get her to understand. As long as the bills paid, well, actually strike that. As long as the bills are meds paid, or as long as she gets her meds, the bills are paid, and rent. Because the bills are in her name, the meds are in her name, and meds and the rent is technically in her name, even though we're both on the lease. And so I try to keep her on that, but it's now to the point where we're always in the hole. She did kind of splurge a little. That which didn't help, but we're always in the hole, and I do try to alleviate the rent amount since it's so low. I try to do work to pay the rent. A lot like what I did before she got her divorce, and her current ex-husband seems to think that me taking care of the rent for the last 2 years was, nothing at all. Anyway, that's a different story, different video, and I might not even touch on it at all. But, yeah, as a caregiver, you're pretty much screwed. You do not exist to a lot of people. In fact, the way DHS has handled me being a caregiver is they made me a representative, and that's about it. Yeah, they kindly remind me in their own little way that there are some things that she still has to sign, and I'm well aware of, and they don't think that I'm well aware of. But it's that way because I don't want to be responsible for anything yet. She can still think for herself. Now, that's pretty much it for being a caregiver. We've looked into trying to move out of this housing authority because, HUD's being a total butthole, and clearly not wanting anybody that's giving them the full flat rate on rent, and it just sucks. How we're going to do it, I have no clue, but we've been thinking about it. Now, on the lines of being a freelance IT guy, first off, it's a learning experience trying to get your own business started, to even be considered a business to begin with, because I'm not considered a business by any means, because, well, I don't get that much work. I am lucky to get a I think it's 1099. Yeah, I'm lucky to get that, if at all. Matter of fact, within the last 3 years, I've only gotten one. Well, strike that. No, I think within the last 4 years. Yeah, I think it was within the last 4 years I only got one. Went to the Jackson Hewitt office, and they proceeded to, well, the lady that we had our taxes done from before proceeds to tell me that as long as I don't make $3,000 worth, I don't have to file taxes. I don't have to do anything about taxes. If it's true or not, no clue. But I haven't done anything with taxes, because how can I prove that I got income when I can't even get a 1099 most of the time? That's the simple case of it. You can't prove anything that you're getting income. And the only other way that I could prove that I've gotten any income is through invoices, and they don't seem to want to count that for anything. A lot of places don't. DHS really doesn't. Yeah, especially when they want you to work so many hours a week, which I have no problem working so many hours a week. Matter of fact, I'm a caregiver. I work anywhere from 14 to 16-hour days that I don't get paid for. So I have no problem working. So that is one of the major things that I've learned while being or attempting to be a freelance IT guy. Over the years, I've learned that you'd have to migrate from one service to another when it comes to invoices, especially if you want to have your invoices off-site, because free services, especially ones that are totally free, tend to disappear. And the first one I used actually literally just disappeared because it didn't offer anything extra that dealt with, paying extra for. The one I'm using now called Waze. Yeah, I think it's called Waze. And the way it works, let's go. Oh, strike that, waveapps.com. I had to look it up for a minute there. So it's wavesapp.com has a number of things. They've actually evolved over the course of me using them to include payroll, a number of things. So whenever I actually get big enough to need payroll, I can actually do it over there. They take so much per month and whatever. And matter of fact, they even do credit card payments. You can actually use them to accept credit card payments, and I've actually accepted a number of credit card payments through them. So that part actually works. They take 2.something% away, but that's based on the invoice and how much the invoice is, and a lot of people use them. It's not like they're not being used. So I do hope one day to actually have an office, actually have a building, actually have employees, and then being the owner and the main guy that works there and the manager of the place. Eventually. But right now, because I'm a caregiver, I can't really commit that much into my business. So right now it's somewhat of a hobby. Because I'm a caregiver. My main job right now is being a caregiver, and so. But anyway, I've learned that it's really, 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 really hard to find a really good service to use for invoices, and until I found wavesapps.com, and they have been pretty good. They actually do like pie charts and everything. The only problem that I have right now with it is that, considering I don't count the money that I use for rent and all that toward the or against it, to make it where it shows expenses and all that, it kind of shows that I have like $20-something thousand worth or something like that. And so it says it shows that I have a crap ton of money, which I really don't. Hopefully I do it, get to the point where I can actually say, yes, I actually have that much money. But right now, I mean, it only says that because I don't count for rent, I don't count for food that I ingest, because I am my company, and I don't have a physical. I technically don't feel like I have a physical address, because it's wherever I'm at. Because I usually have, freaking flash drives for part of it, and I get my screwdrivers for part of it, and that's pretty much all the main things I need for being a freelance IT guy for the most part. So I usually just have maybe 1 or 2 screwdrivers and a couple flash drives, and there, I'm my own business. I can actually use whenever I get someone that wants to pay me on the spot. I got this lovely, wonderful Square card reader that I could use for that. Now I believe waveapps.com has a app for Android, which I have not looked into yet. So I do plan on looking at that. I might, look at it sometime this week just to make sure, I think I might have it on there. I don't know, to be honest. Anyway, so I'm pretty much a freelance IT guy that counts myself as the business, and yeah, so. Now, moving right along to being a streamer, which, if you guys have not kept up with the streams, then I do apologize that you haven't kept up with the streams. Or if you haven't kept up with the videos, well, I apologize for that too. But believe it or not, I do stream, and since I figured out this right here, how to make it where it doesn't go all over the place and stuff, it is a bit grainy, and I do apologize for that, but like I said, I am using my phone as a webcam right now. That's pretty much all I have for webcam wise. And yeah, that's it. So I might start incorporating this depending on how much is used up after making this video. And holy mackerel, I didn't even realize it was 24 minutes. Well, I never intend to make long videos, but they always end up being long because I ramble in them all the time. Which is like majority of the videos that I've done, which is the reason why I suck at making videos, because I end up rambling in them anyway. But anyway, as you may or may not know, if you haven't kept up, I have been streaming for about 2 years now, and that includes the fact that I've actually went through 2 YouTube changes. One being the fact that I actually had gotten up to $2 and something cents in ad revenue, and they decided to change it and keep the money, which $2, granted that $2 is $2, but they had a limit of a minimum of, I think, $100 something. I think it's $100 something. Maybe it was less than that, but they have a minimum, and $2 was nowhere close to the minimum. So I can't really say too much about it. The fact that anybody's watching any of my videos and my streams are, in my opinion, astonishing, magnificent. I don't know how else to put it other than I'm shocked that I'm literally shocked that anybody will watch my videos to begin with. So yeah, I've actually lived through 2 YouTube changes. I lived through a number of Twitch changes, and the only one that hasn't really made any change is Mixer. At least as far as I remember, they might have had 1 or 2 changes, but it's mainly through terms of service through Microsoft for a number of other things, and I don't know if they really included Mixer in those TOS changes. So I'm not really sure if there's any change in that or not. But with that being said, I actually use Restream.io to stream to all 3 of those. And what I would like to eventually do is to incorporate Facebook into the streaming, so I could actually stream to, YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, and Facebook's what I would like to do. And I already have all of the alerts set for all of them. At least I believe I do. I might have to go back and check on the Facebook part of it, which is not that hard. I've learned that you kind of have to situate all the stuff around all the elements in the stream. Like the view counter, I got way up here, and then I got right here my social media thing that it keeps on popping up right there, and then I got now the extra life thing. I kind of have summer. I actually might have it right there. So I actually have learned a couple of things, and I've actually evolved in my streaming, and you can actually see throughout the from when I started until now that I've actually slowly started to change. That I've actually literally streamed off my PS4 every now and then. Matter of fact, that's how I started streaming, was straight off my PS4. Now I have learned that after it took me a while to learn this, that I could use PlayStation Remote Play to capture the video and audio of the game. And I got this headset. I've actually changed the number of headsets. I actually used to, let's see, where is it? I actually used to use this for a while there when I was streaming straight off the PlayStation 4. And not very many people liked it. And to be honest, I can't really blame him, because sometimes that thing's kind of hard to use. I did use this while streaming, you know, the original PlayStation 4 stuff. But yeah, that's didn't work out too great either. I've actually used the skull candies when I was streaming straight from my PlayStation Plus. Those or PlayStation 4, and those were actually better because I could drown out the freaking sound and all that. The bad thing is, me being a caregiver and drowning out the sound, it's not exactly a good idea, because then you get told that you never do things, and then you kind of get yelled at. But then again, it kind of ends up being a good thing, because the doctor has been trying to tell her that she needs to walk, and I've been trying to tell her that she needs to walk, so every now and then she actually does walk. Not as much as she needs to, but she does walk. Which leads to me having to wonder when she's going to try to fall, and if I'm going to have to call the ambulance because something broke, because, hey, us caregivers don't get any medical training along with not getting paid. Yay! Yeah, and that's another video that I may or may not do. But anyway, so I've learned a lot about being a caregiver. Matter of fact, I even learned a couple of common misconceptions. The fact that caregivers do nothing because no one sees what they do. Caregivers seem to, at least this, now these are just the common misconceptions that I've noticed and seen and dealt with. Caregivers are not appreciative of the help that they get, when I damn well know that's not true, because I appreciate all the help I get. I might not say it. I might say that I've gotten no help at all. But the problem is, when I say that, I'm referring to the government not helping, not my family, not my friends. I'm talking about the government not helping me. I've gotten so much financial help, and I'm not gonna lie, it did, like I said before, I appreciate it immensely. But right now, the help I really need right now is stuff that I feel that's not my job as caregiver to get from anybody, because since I don't get any help from the government, I pretty much feel like I am on my own. And I know that's wrong, because I've gotten help from family members and friends. Matter of fact, I've gotten even help from clanmates for Destiny 2. Yes, believe it or not, I actually do. Hang on a second. Ooh, crap. Believe it or not, I have a PS4 that I, play games with, that my mother so graciously thought that I deserved, because I'm trying to do as much as I can on what we have. And matter of fact, the game that I mainly play, or started out mainly playing before they done their thing and ditched the player base, just because, PS4 is better than PS3, which they didn't do anything about, is Destiny. This lovely game right here, my brother bought. He bought this for me because we didn't really have any means of playing games with each other, because he lives in another part of the state, And yeah, so this was his way of trying to play games with me. And this was the first one that I remember that we actually literally both sat down in front of a TV and played. Now he used to come by and log into my PS3 and download the DLCs that he would get, because he knew that I didn't have any kind of funds. Alright. Now, when I got my PS4, I got the one that had Black Ops 3 in it, which I'm not too much of a fan of Black Ops 3. Now, I do have a copy of Black Ops 3 that my brother got for the PS3. I struck that, my brother's wife. Sorry, my brother's wife got it. And needless to say, she was not too thrilled about the fact that it was not made by the same people. It didn't have all the features. Yeah. And then she kind of sort of stopped playing it, and then I stopped playing it. But anyway, now when I got my PS4, it actually came with Black Ops 3. And so I, again, played it. I'm not really much of a Black Ops fan. I'm not really much of a... let's see. Yeah, not much of a Black Ops fan. Now, the only Call of Duty game that I'm really into was the Modern Warfare series. I got a chance to play Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, good stuff. The only one I felt that was good enough to actually be called a game. Now in the Medal of Honor series, it was the oh shoot, can't remember what it was. It was the War Fighters or something like that. It's the continuation of a series. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's pretty good in my opinion. Now, when I got my PS4 though, I had Black Ops 3 for the longest time. I'd hop in on the PS3 for Destiny until they announced the collection edition for PS4, and I bought this from Redbox. Yep, that was, yeah, it's pretty cool. So I got the PS3 version, the PS4 version, and yes, I know, since I played on the PS4, I am one of those, or since I played it on the PS3, I'm one of those people that supposedly held it back. Yeah. Now, with that being said, as a caregiver, I would, turn to games whenever I'm not doing, or when I'm not needed by my mother to do caregiver stuff, like remind her about meds and all that stuff. And when Destiny 2 was released, because mind you, I started playing this when I first started being a caregiver. As a matter of fact, my brother hopped on to his PS3 to make sure all of the stuff that they were going to transfer over to the PS4 version would transfer over, so I wouldn't have to worry about it, because they had a limit on when they were going to do it. But anyway, so this, for the longest time, was played. Matter of fact, I have plans on playing some of it today. It may even stream a little bit of it today. But yeah, it's this game right here. Is literally the main thing that keeps me sane while being a caregiver, literally. Yeah. Now, when Destiny 2 got released, I rented it the first day it was released from Redbox. And what I'd do is I'd get occasionally Redbox would because if you sign up to their freaking club or whatever, you would get emails and you'd get text messages. If you signed up for all the services they had, you'd get emails and text messages and all this other stuff about free game, free night game rental, free game rentals and free movie rentals and so much percentage off on games and movies and all this other stuff. Well, when it was released, I rented it day one of launch. And thought it was pretty cool at first. Granted, I'm a guy that will run through the campaign. Matter of fact, that's what I did for Destiny 1. I ran through a campaign, and then I started noticing a number of things after that. Like you couldn't rerun you can't rerun story missions unless you go to Ikora, and of course I'm sure I'm butchering the crap out of her name. But unless you go to Ikora to get what's called meditations, which is really just the story missions that you can rerun. Yeah, it felt kind of odd that they would do that. And then later on, doing strikes, getting the same one. I've actually gotten the same one after doing the story mission, literally 3 or 4 times in a row. The fact that the weapons are the way they are, the fact the way the whole game the way it is, and the way they literally brought some of the stuff from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2 when it's supposed to be a brand new game because we're supposed to lose our powers to get new connection to light. Alright, so that's the main thing. I started noticing problems here and there, but I still like the game, believe it or not. I still like Destiny and Destiny 2, even with all the problems. Alright, so my brother's birthday comes around, and he tells me that his wife actually asked him what he wanted for his birthday. And he said he told his wife that he wanted to get me a copy of Destiny 2. And he did. And to be honest, I didn't know what to tell him other than thank you. And because he doesn't really come by anymore. He's got a number of family issues because he's actually married to his wife. I mean, you gotta take care of the other half, and so he doesn't really come around anymore. But I'd get to play with him in Destiny 2 on the PS4. Yeah. And then when the DLC came around, he actually got me to join a clan before that happened, and the clan I'm in, they talked about. See, I didn't even know they were talking about this until they started saying, "Oh well, do you have PayPal? Do you have this? Do you have that?" And I go, "Well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because, for one, I've had a PayPal account for a long time and never had a chance to use it for much of anything." And I straight up told him that I've never really used PayPal to get or to receive or get money. Matter of fact, for the longest time, when it came to me getting money from my brother's wife, it happened to be through Google Wallet, which they've really don't. Google's really doesn't use that anymore, even though it's still there. But they said they started saying something about, well, I'll go ahead and get you this and that and everything else. I'm like, and I literally had to tell them because I really didn't know what to do when they started going on about how they were going to help me get the DLC and all. I told them just hold off and give me a couple days to think about it. Because I'm a type of guy that if you're going to give me something, I gotta figure out how I'm going to pay you back somehow. Because I know nothing's free. Nothing in this world is ever free because somebody wants something in exchange. That's how it usually works. It's the reason why we work to get money, because money is the thing that apparently makes the world go round, which it doesn't really make the world go round. Matter of fact, me having an IT degree, I just see the US dollar as a series of ones and zeros. Like I see, in a way, when I look at the world, being an IT guy that I am, it's just a bunch of zeros and ones. It's just like cryptocurrency. It's a bunch of zeros and ones. It's yes or no, on or off. Is it there or isn't it there? And so when it comes to money, I literally have to figure out a way to pay people back. Matter of fact, I actually got a coffee maker. In one of my videos, you'll see, or one of my videos, you'll see I unboxed a coffee maker, and I got that through the means of answering a fellow streamer's tweet. Now I figured out how I could pay him back, because on Twitch you do the whole bits, which then translate into me donating money in some form or fashion. So I've slowly been paying him back every now and then, which I'm probably... Actually, I probably already paid him off, but I keep on donating bits to him anyway. Now, I tell my brother what they seem to want to do, and he goes, well, yeah, go ahead and let him do it. Go ahead and let him do it. I was going to do it anyway, but they'll just beat me in the punch. So I'd literally sit there and wait, or I'd sit there and try to figure out, well, how am I going to pay them back, since they're going to give me this enough for the expansion pass for Destiny 2. And the only thing I could think of is try to help out as much as I can. If somebody needs help doing something and I am not doing any caregiver duties, to jump into stuff. But the bad thing is I've actually been burned by my last clan when it came to just jumping in or being a part of or whatever. And I straight up told him that I've been burned before by a previous clan. And so at first it was all fine and dandy. I gone through my first, Leviathan raid, gone through my first Eater Worlds raid layer. Went to the trials for the first time ever playing Destiny. Yeah, when it came to Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, I've never went to the Trials of Osiris. It took me to get to have a clan take me in Trials of Destiny 2. Yeah. Anyway, matter of fact, last week before last, I won my first Trials match, and that was freaking awesome. And I suck at PvP, but anyway, that's what I figured I could do. And it started out no problem. But here lately, it's been like no one wants to do anything with other clan members that hardly get to do anything with them now. I've personally made requests for a raid and it goes unanswered, so I've learned not to ask for raids or anything like that. But I do still jump in to a number of things when I am not doing caregiver duties, because that's the only way I could pay my clan back that got me the DLC. And that's like I said, that's the type of person I try to be, is to pay back whoever helps me, whatever helps me, in some form or fashion. And what people don't understand is, for some of us caregivers, it's, playing video games like this is really the only thing that some of us can really do, because we don't have a lot of money to do anything else. Matter of fact, my fiance gave me a bottle of Captain Morgan, and that bottle didn't even last 2 weeks because of all the stuff that I've been dealing with. And a bottle like that would normally last longer. And if I had the money, I would buy another bottle. But I can't. I know as a caregiver, I've developed a number of medical issues that I can't do anything about because I don't have the money to do anything for it. Because the way I do with or the way I attempt to do when it comes to caregiver duties is, if I really needed help, then I would have gotten it. Now I'm not talking about like as in people just straight up give me cash, give me money and everything like that, because that doesn't work. You can't honestly expect that. And I've learned that years ago, even before being a caregiver. But some of the things that I've learned doesn't really help the fact that I'm trying to do this all on my own. with no help from the government. And the help I did get was from family members before they started having their own problems. So yeah. Anyway, I've been told by my mother, the lovely person I'm being a caregiver to, that she seems to think that I need anger management classes, and I'm like, well, no I don't, because if I needed those, I would have done got them. And yeah, so the way I deal with being a caregiver and attempt to deal with being caregivers, make, lovely YouTube videos like I am now, which I did not intend for this video to be as long as it is. Another thing is me streaming and me playing Destiny, or Destiny 2, depending on whatever's not in maintenance. And since the Bungie decided to straight up just jump ship on Destiny 1 without fixing means of taking stuff that's related to trials out, I mean, seriously, I can go to Destiny 1, do PvP, and get the little passage coins that you can get for trials, for the boons. And mind you, trials does not happen in Destiny 1 anymore. But I'm getting the freaking tokens for it. And it kind of defeats the purpose of the token being there if they're not going to have it there. Now, I personally believe that they could go ahead and have it set to a set schedule, because there's still people playing Destiny. Their first, Destiny 1. And they kind of left it in a weird state. But anyway, between playing Destiny and a couple other games, see, I don't play specifically just Destiny. That just happens to be my main game. I play other games along the way. Star Trek Online. Here recently, Armored Forces or whatever, where you're in tanks. It's like a World of Tanks, and a number of other games. But me playing games, me streaming, me playing games, and me making YouTube videos are the only therapy that I feel that I could do for myself, because I actually know they are free to an extent. Now, I say to an extent because we still have to pay for internet. And some of the games that I can get from a PS4, I can actually get the free games from PS4, like Star Trek Online. Believe it or not, I actually used to stream it. I may go back to streaming it every now and then. So when I start hearing stuff like anger management classes, even though she says, "Oh, that's going to be free because you don't have you don't have a job and everything," because being a freelance IT guy, what little work I do doesn't count for a job, period, even to the government. That it's supposed to be free, and I go, no, because there's going to be something. They're going to try to get money somewhere, somehow, from me, and so I don't go for it. Anyway, that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit of what I've learned in the last couple of years. If you've made it this long through the video, I do greatly appreciate it. I do apologize for it being a long rambling video. This is literally the longest video I've ever done on YouTube. Now, unless you count streams, I've done the longest stream was maybe 4 hours in some events. But anyway, I do greatly appreciate the likes, the subscribes, the follows, all that good stuff. And matter of fact, I appreciate all the comments, negative, positive. I appreciate all the thumbs down, thumbs up, because it shows me it doesn't matter if you hate the video, it doesn't matter if you like the video, it just shows me that you're watching the video. It shows me that despite the fact that I actually suck at making videos, that somebody out there in the world is watching them and in one form or another agreeing or disagreeing, wanting to have a conversation or something like that. So, until next time, don't have too much fun.